Thank you, Mr. Connolly. I would now like to recognize a fellow South Carolinian, Congressman Timmons.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's great to say. Madam Chairwoman, congratulations on being the chair.
Thank you.
First, thank you so much for your attendance here today. Y'all are all experts in your field, and we really appreciate you taking the time to come and share your thoughts on this important topic. Congress is grappling with technology. Our country's grappling with technology, and we're doing our best to try to figure out a regulatory environment that fosters innovation and allows economic growth while managing the potential adverse impacts that technology can have. Obviously, we're working on cryptocurrency and digital assets, and that's a major challenge for us. Congress is not the youngest, most tech-savvy part of our society, and we're doing our best. But I do want to talk about AI's potential impact on our workforce, particularly how tech can be leveraged to further individual efficiency rather than possibly displace workers. So, Mr. Crowder, I want to start with you. What are the most promising use cases for AI as a tool in the workforce, and how do you anticipate AI will influence industries such as the financial services sector?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty broad. And one of the exciting things we didn't really talk about is that leveraging some of the underlying technologies like base or foundational models can be applied to things not just writing a haiku or coming up with a speech, but also looking at language-like things in other fields like tabular data in finance, et cetera, et cetera. So in addition to the kinds of things I talked about fraud detection, I think we've all experienced the, maybe traveling abroad and having your credit card be declined, and that's bad for banks because they want that credit card money. So even a small percentage improvement in false positives is a lot of money for our financial institutions. So there's lots and lots of applications. But to your point, I think we need to look at AI as augmenting what humans can do as opposed to replace. And I think good utilization of AI is to make our workforce more efficient. And I would argue one of the things that we do a good job in the United States is funding basic science, but we also need to look at how do we encourage our workforce to be able to use the technology as opposed to just develop the technology. Because I think the use of AI is going to be a differentiating factor on making the United States government as well as our companies more effective and more competitive.
As businesses try to compete in the free market, they're inevitably going to try to cut costs and replace workforce with technology. How are we going to manage that challenge?
It's a good question. I don't know if I have a perfect answer for it, but I think having a more productive workforce that is focusing on value creation, I think at the end of the day is what really drives success in business. And the more that you can automate tasks that aren't really value creation, so you can free up your workforce to create value, I think that's good. And I think that's a more positive way of driving additional productivity as opposed to thinking about it as removal of cost.
Sure. Dr. Schmidt, what jobs do you think will be created in the wake of AI, and what jobs do you think will be threatened?
I think one of the general comments to make is I've spent 20 years listening to the theme that jobs will be lost because of technology, and today we have a huge shortage of workers to fill jobs in America. The biggest category is truck drivers. Remember how truck drivers are going to be replaced by automation. So it looks to me like the most likely scenario in the next 20 years or so is not enough people to fill these jobs. And the best way to get people who can fill those jobs is to have them have better tools, better education, better knowledge, and a partner, if you will. All of the evidence that I've studied indicates that having a digital partner increases your wage. Right? Literally, when you're using a computer to help do the job has a higher salary. So it looks to me like as we get more diffusion of this technology, on average, jobs go up. There are jobs that are lost. There are jobs that are created.
Sure. I couldn't imagine my life without Google, Apple, and Amazon. I feel like I'm attached to my phone, and I haven't been to the grocery store in 3 years, and it's great. So I'm sure that this is going to create additional opportunities to make my life more efficient and make me more capable of having a greater impact. So I appreciate that, and thank you, Madam Chair. I yield back.
Thank you. I